Hey Shadow, how are you today?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing well. Won't eat up too much of your time here. Happy holidays, as they say.
Yeah, thank you. You too.
Greetings from
Diamond may be in.
yeah, no
She's
worries.
running around right now with her spouse, trying to get some things done. So she was hoping to be in. But she's not here yet.
Well, we'll warm the pot here. I was
Yeah.
excited to hear that the Independent Producers Guild was exploring working with AI, and Tuesday Cinema Club, we love cinema and AI.
Yeah, of
Well,
course. Yeah. I think that. I mean, you just have to bite the bullet, right?
sure.
And understand. But it's once we started delving into it, it's so not what people are thinking it is. I mean, it's obviously a retail environment. Cling and all those things and polo. I just finished speaking with somebody on that he did a this whole trailer on polo. Um, but to get it to do something on spec, to get it to do something on from things it's trained in is problematic already to make it good. But to get it to do something to design is well nigh impossible right now. And we did a cost up on it. And we came in way low. Um, we came into roughly $234 per finished second, but that doesn't include like the human costs. That doesn't include the programmer or the people doing the design and the stuff like that. That's just the renders themselves for a feature film.
I got it
Um,
down to 10K for I could do 10K,
wow.
90
But
minutes.
on spec, like how would you do that? Because
For
the
for
next one that I heard was like up around 4 million.
nah
And the number
nah
of prompts,
nah.
um, no,
Don't let them sell you tokens. I'm really trying
oh,
to
certainly not.
I'm
Yeah,
trying to
of course.
be more in the space and vein of like Lloyd Kaufman making
Hmm.
Shromaville films with AI.
Hmm.
Right? This idea where like right now everyone is trying to make Hollywood level AI, but no
Right.
one's making schlock and slop. And the thing that really
Right.
catches people's eyes is like it's not special effects, it's story, right? And
Well, of course. Yeah.
now that's like there's no all future generations will be numb to technical effects because we've already slowed time to stopping, gone to the quantum and the maximum. Like what was explored over the last like 15, 20 years in special effects, we've done it all. So what's left is always going to be rehashing. So now people need something new. And they're that's like one of the reasons why like a lot of these independent films have like such a big thing. It's the story. It can just be a small story these days. But I definitely feel like like you look at like some of like Kaufman stuff, it's more of like commentary and recreation and rehashing of old stories with just like one little like kick. And when I think of like the early output prompts that were going viral, it'd be like, oh, here's Bigfoot running around doing human things. And it's not a guy in a Bigfoot costume, it's a make believe thing anyway. I think
Right.
like, have you seen the new AI Jackass, man? That thing is insane.
No, I haven't.
There's this guy going around Nevada and Las Vegas. He goes and he takes photos of people in a store, like a retail setting. And then on his phone, prompts like Grok, make a video of this person kissing some other guy in the photo. And he'll walk up to the guy in the photo. He's like, is this you? This guy just kissed you on the neck. And now these two
Huh.
dudes are like fighting a false reality. And they're like looking at this guy's phone and saying, whoa, this AI. And the content is this guy's just wearing like some glasses filming them look at his phone. And I think, that's the kind of AI content I'm more interested in making, the stuff that's really like assaults reality, makes fun of it, as opposed to like everyone right now is like, okay, so now I could finally film my space drama. It's like no one wants to go to space
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah. Everybody thinks that, oh, this is suddenly going to make me a filmmaker. And I keep saying, look, you have a cell phone that has a camera in it. If you're not making movies right now, AI is not going to make you a filmmaker.
Yeah.
So stop, right? Like you have a pencil and paper. Final draft isn't going to make you a writer.
Yeah.
Um, so but everybody's going crazy with stuff. But wait a minute, when you say $10,000, what are you talking about? You're talking about for a 90-minute film, and in what kind of like?
I mean, I could probably definitely get it in 1080, and I could get it into 4K through. So like, I'm just talking about the prompts and getting what is like dailies. I could get $10,000 to get me 90 minutes of dailies with coverage, right?
Right.
So like, what is that? That's probably like, I think it rounds up to maybe like, yeah, it's probably just around like 120 minutes of footage, 120 minutes of coverage, right? And that's just through prompting and outing, right? So whether or not that stuff hits, the problem is then you have to have 120 minutes worth of prompts, right? So I broke down a movie into beats, right? So you go, let's
Mm.
take a movie, break it down to beats, and in each scene, and then I just did it based around like, let's set a 7 second maximum for an output. So how many beats can I film in 7 seconds? Like maybe two at most, right? So if you break a film down into 2 beats per prompt, and those you need coverage on that, you know, you could do usually 4 or 5 like generative videos for coverage on that. You spec that out, and I could show you my Congo 2 script, and it's all the way out there in like a couple thousand prompts. I'll show you it here. Let me bring it up right now. I think I'm sharing my screen. Let's see if I can find the Congo 2 script. This document is crazy. This was like my idea this year to just totally go full in. 5,516 beats was all I needed at a 10-second one, right? So what the final ones, you see the page just keep going here, is actually, it came out to a lot more. I probably have 1,000 beats here, right? Where each one of these, and then I started taking these beats. There's another document somewhere where these beats I then use to then generate into what is the content for that, right? And this is just the stuff that I'm not going to take someone I'm going to make dance over it, right? Then you get some people to really like trauma it in, right? So now you have like $10,000, but you have all your special effects coverage, all your exteriors covered, everything covered, and now you just have some people acting in front of it. And
So you're talking about environments and backgrounds.
but more too. I mean, like so much of it is driven by like, if you have like a flashback and you can take your actors' faces, right? So you hire
Mm.
someone, right, who's going to be your main actor, and then they're in these things too, right? So their like usage is like you go Hitchcockian with it, and you literally are turning them into props, right? I feel like, especially in LA, there's a lot of actors who are just interested in work, and this is an alternative form of work where they're not necessarily. You're like, hey, I'm gonna scan you, right? You're gonna give me like headshots from 20 different angles while you're smiling, and I'm gonna pay you for like 4 days of work or one day of work while I get all those photos. Goodbye, and I'll show you a cut later. Like they're not gonna sit there and say a single thing because I don't need them to, and that costs a lot more money. You're talking about all these things. Like I'm literally trying to like do this on no budget, zero budget, free credits, right? That's the other side of this too. So like, let's just say I take like the baseline free credits for some of these systems. I could generate in a day about 14 minutes between all my free accounts. So 14 minutes a day across 86 things, that's only like 2 weeks. All of a sudden in 2 weeks, I have all that coverage off free credits. That's the kind of stuff where it's like, I'm not interested in making something that is hiding that it's AI. I'm trying to make something that goes
Oh yeah.
beyond that, right? And so many people right now are just trying to like it looks so good it's not AI, and I'm trying to embrace this as a medium in an alternative and like maybe in a way that other people wouldn't necessarily like. I kind of like think of this as like where digital first came out, and I'm more just like free real estate, right? Because I used to make stuff in Blender. The amount of time it would take for me to render something in Blender, it's just not the same.
Hmm. Interesting. We were talking about just before on this. I was talking with the guy who wants to do a movie on. I can't remember the guy's first name. His last name is Moore, and he was the chief for many years. He was the chief tuner, piano tuner for Steinway, and he worked with. because of that, he traveled the whole world and he worked with like Vladimir Horowitz and all these great pianists. But he grew up in World War II in Germany, and his earliest memories were from the fire bombings. And so we were talking about this documentary, not documentary, biopic he wants to do. And I was like, well, I don't know, but it, it it's unbelievably expensive to do a military period piece like that, where that's a major part of the story. But maybe, you know, environments can be done with AI, and it would be much cheaper than 3D process as well. You know, if you can do those environments and some of the sweeping shots and things like that, then that's not bad. That can be done, and it can be done look fairly good too, right? Um, so we were exploring that part, but I don't know. I mean, when you talk about what we're talking about, when I'm saying $1.5 million, $234 a second, we're talking about not I mean, original content through AI. So we don't use anything that it would be trained on in terms of faces or places. We would have to generate that footage and train it on our own database for much of the stuff. And you can actually do that, but the iterations to get it
And
are
here's some
different.
of the raw footage from Congo too. This is like my spec I've been trying to get people.
Cool.
I don't know if you've watched any of Congo too. I put out a full spec here. I'm trying to get the firebombing at Dresden right now. What I'm really interested in is how people are really breaking it. Have you seen how people break Grok? Whatever you do, don't go to the Reddit for Grok right now. It's crazy. It's like so perverted right now. It's bizarre. For every bit of content that's like on here, it's almost all not safe for work now. And that's just Elon like finally breaking away and being like the first company to give people access to this as porn. It's like,
Right.
and this is like every couple minutes someone's out here just generating. And this is the stuff I'm not gonna. You could click through and know exactly what's happened, right?
Mm,
Like
that's
they're gonna like kind of odd it. But what's interesting is people get in here and they start sharing all these prompts that they're doing, right? Like they
right.
they do all this stuff to put stickers over things and trick it, right? Like uh it's very interesting to see how people have tricked this thing, especially like right now. I think this is about to get shut down, but definitely
Mhm.
people were just like massively generating porn out of this for the last couple of days.
That,
I encourage you to look on
the
this on
porn
your own
people
time.
are always on the forefront.
I totally agree because the things they were doing to
Yeah.
trick this were really, really interesting. They were like doing stuff where like put anime stickers on the outside, and so a lot of these videos have just these other weird defaults coming into it. But again, like this is kind of like what people want, and this is like the other thing is like my friend was like, well, this is problematic, and I'm like, well, you know what? In some ways, it frees the women from filling this role, right? Like it frees the people having to act in this way, right? It's like it lets kind of this exist in a way. I mean, sure, we're just at the point where it's just Pikachu and porn, but at some point, like
Mhm.
maybe something less base will come from it. But gosh, does it show a kind of darker side of humanity? Unlike this firebombing at Dresden with the piano tumor, this was
Yeah,
me
right.
demoing it last week with Sora using Gooey Duck. Yeah, I don't know if you're familiar with the food Gooey Duck, and just in
Yes.
itself, it like kind of goes there. This
Yeah.
prompt was a piano tuner hides his son in a firebombing at Dresden, World War II. We'll see what comes out. Even that sound, like getting that sound.
You'll fit, Jakob, right here under the strings. It's strong wood.
What? No, no, that's not what his memory is.
Here.
Will you come back?
Mark,
I will, I swear it. Listen for the low C, that's me.
listen for the low C. That's me, man. That he would be so pissed off. But you know what? Uh, that feels like a movie in a way. Listen for. I'm
That's
a.
actually very similar to what he produced.
Stay still,
It's
stay.
almost that.
You'll fit,
See,
Jakob, right here
that's
under the strings.
the
It's strong wood.
one of the challenges. I get
Trust
people
me.
keep
Stay
sending me
still,
stuff.
stay quiet. No
It's all
matter
the
what
same.
you hear.
Will you come back?
It's like
I will, I swear it.
literally
Listen for
not
the low
just
C, that's
similar.
me.
Sometimes
You'll
it's
fit to what?
identical.
Identical props. Look at this one. He's got an Alexa on a
Yeah,
stick.
You trespass in the
yeah,
temple
and
of the
it's
prime
like
movers.
they don't
You will
even
pay
realize.
tribute
Like
to the
somebody
oracle.
sent me a pitch deck and I had generated some characters like last spring, and this thing had the same characters. I'm like, dude, if you're that's one of the dangers you don't understand, right? The people, not you, but if you're asking it to generate you something, it's generated that already for somebody else. And
How
the
could it
same
know
way,
what you're talking about? Yeah, you're
yeah,
just looking at someone
and
else's thing.
yeah. So,
She has
you
ontological
know,
integrity.
if
You
you're
can't
trying to
just
be
requisition
original,
a
then don't,
post-human
you know.
consciousness.
Certain things it's good for, but it's going to require a lot more attention for, I don't know. But yeah, okay. I mean, I see where that can go. Yeah, interesting.
Well,
Very interesting. Because we want to, you know, we need to, the thing is, dude, the industry is in like, I keep saying free fall, but it's just in a complete restructuring. And
well, the Coca-Cola commercial looked better every year, is what they're going to say to each other.
yeah,
Because,
yeah.
uh, I don't hear anyone getting ad work right now.
No,
Right?
I mean, why? No, there are people, but even Modelo, I just saw a Modelo commercial, the first quote unquote full AI commercial. It wasn't. They're calling it full AI, but as it turns out, they used Houdini and they used all these things. And at some point, they did use some AI generated stuff for Modelo, but it was all CGI, of course. Um, but yeah, the audio, yeah, voice actors are screwed, and it's unfortunate. In a lot of ways it's unfortunate, but here we are in a industrial revolution on steroids, and we're watching a whole bunch of people. It's not just entertainers. There's a lot of people about to lose their livelihoods because of AI, because generative AI is just one little thing. Machine learning has gone crazy. And on the other hand, you know, I'm going to have to look at this. I want to talk about some of these things. I like your approach idea, um, because we want to get some films done, and you know that it's never been harder actually raising money. It's never been a harder time than it is right now, and this can be how we get our films out. You know, at least part of the deal. So
Well, I'm cooking. I'm cooking on something here. I secured someone to do all the sounds for me, and then I'm going to feed that back to AI. It's going to be crazy. Really, really just anime theme
but
levels.
what do you do though? Like, here's the thing. All those, I don't know about all of them, but I know some of them imprint watermarks into their video, and it's not video. You actually have to pop it into your editor and use certain filters in order to see it. Um, so it's there, but it's detectable. And your terms of service uh, generally prohibit you to use it for a commercial purpose unless you're paying for it for that.
So,
Now,
like,
audio is already,
I think it'd
what's
be
that?
there's something called Comfy UI.
Company.ui, yeah.
Yeah, you spend any time in this?
I'm just starting to look at that. Yeah.
So, like, what this is, right? It's like a node-based. And I think you can just launch it in the cloud here, so you can run
Mhm.
through it, right? But it's like node based, and when you are doing the node based stuff, you're making the API calls, and there are no watermarks when you do the API calls. When you
No,
are
no visible watermarks. I'm talking about invisible watermarks imprinted in the system. So there's no visible watermarks for sure. And when you use music AI, there's no audio watermark, but it's imprinted in the digital code. And right now, YouTube is tracking all of it and shutting down a lot of it. Not shutting it down, demonetizing it. In other words, monetizing it back to the platform where it was generated from instead of you. So the video is trackable if the system looks for it, even though it's not got an imprinted watermark on it. It's in there. In a lot of cases. In some cases, it's not. So that's an issue.
I would
And
say that if you were in here and you know what you're doing, you could remove any sort of watermark. I think the models that you're using, right, are what you're talking about. And I like really think we're just a couple months, if not weeks, away from someone showing everyone the crowbar that most of us use to break models. Because all you're
Well,
talking about is like, right now they've handed everyone a black box and said it's
right,
impossible to open. There's no way
right,
you'd ever understand how to put on the restraints a human put on. No, bro, it's so easy to take it off. They just don't want to because it's so powerful. Like, they don't want to
right,
because it's already making people insane. People literally have never like had. When's the last time, like, when cell phones came out, they didn't make people go crazy, but when AI came
no,
out, they put guardrails on it because they're like, people will kill each other and themselves with this. This is worse than a gun because it makes the stupid people smarter, or it makes them think they're smarter, which is worse. And like,
right,
that's like why these things exist right now. And the only thing that's worse than them existing is the people who have access to them charging a subscription to meagerly change it. It's like one of
right,
the biggest downfalls that AI came around when capitalism was on. Because all of this should just be a knob instead of a token based thing, but
right,
everyone wants their money. So again, I would
right.
encourage you, because like, Comfy UI is actually just a wrapper of an open source product, right?
Yeah,
And most of
yeah,
the AI out there is open source. So like, if you could
yeah.
tap
And
into it,
if it's open source, like the question though is how big a system, if you were downloading, I know I can get a bunch of it off GitHub. Um, how big a system do I need to run it locally?
I feel like if you have enough RAM and GPU, like a modern gaming computer, you can do more than you think. You just have to
Right,
commit the computer to do it. When I was a kid,
right,
I used to just set my computer to render every night, and it would only make 10
yeah,
seconds. And I was super happy with that. I just like,
right,
if now I'm generating something at 4K that's 2 minutes overnight, I'm very happy with that. And on top of that, like, I don't know. I just think it's like, in a year, if you were generating a minute a day, and you would be able to make a movie, and it could
yeah,
cost you nothing but what you own. And like, that's the thing. Like, it's
yeah,
never, everyone's like, well, how do I make the whole studio again? And it's like, patience is a big part of this, right? Because you see how it can be faster, but the thing about faster is you have to have a bigger engine. And I'm, again,
yeah,
like, going back to this Lloyd Kaufman thing. I'm going to try to find the smallest computers to make the shittiest images the quickest on, to get this thing out so I can make a whole series once I find like Congo 2 is doing well, right? But until
right,
then, I just need to make one at a time. And
yeah.
I also think it's like kind of finding a new medium with the art, as opposed to like denying AI, incorporating AI in a way that, like,
You know what? What's the point of that? It's not, if it's here already in the platforms that are out there, it's not only not going away, the time to, if you didn't want it, the time to fight it was a decade ago.
but also if you're writing something current
Yeah,
today and you're not including it in the things you're writing, you're denying reality,
yeah.
right?
See, that's the thing, right? I've been writing a script and I'm going, wait a minute, I don't have anybody looking at, there's no robots, there's no AI, there's no, like, this is going to be what's happening over the next just a couple of years, so definitely, yeah, okay, I'm going to relook at that. I'm looking definitely
I think you should
doing
like
that and
become
seeing,
a hacker, right? Have AI
yeah,
teach you how to break it, right? Learn how to break AI so you can make it in control, as opposed to it just being a funnel to your wallet. Because
yeah,
so many people are just trying to slurp up from you. I saw you
we're
liking
not,
some of my posts today. I didn't know if you
yeah,
knew this.
yeah,
This is actually something I generated today. This is an app I made today, that it helps me generate posts. So, like, for example, I could send you this link after, but it's just like, it's more. I was doing this to demo what like an agentic workflow is, but it was to help me do write about A24 versus big studios and which will use AI more first, and what is better. And it's gonna do this thing where it goes out with a researcher and it's gonna find some of this information about what is that it's talking about, and then it's gonna gather all that information, and then it's gonna write a little article on it and generate like the image. And that was like the content you were liking today. that was content that was being generated. I don't know if it read as pure AI slop, but I
No,
wasn't.
I didn't actually look at it
Yeah,
like to determine whether it was or not. I don't do that anymore.
sure. Why not?
I'm
Why
like,
would you?
is this AI or not? If it's either giving me the information or not, as far as I'm concerned, right now. But yeah, yeah, no, we're just like bite the bullet. Uh, it's going so fast, right? The studios for once are behind the game. Um, and I understand why, for the same reason I came out at 1.5 million for 90 minutes and somebody else came out at 7 million, because they want it to be at a certain level. They are, however, um, it's a mistake to think that they're not doing this and way better in-house right now. They're just not showing it to us right now.
How could they?
But they're I don't know where it's going. But anyway, the writing is on the wall, and the first couple of studios that are actually doing this and have develop an expertise in it, has the tech, um, stabilizes and gets way better, they're gonna be have ahead of the game, right? Maybe. I mean, who knows where the money's going these days? I just, yesterday it was going to crypto. Today it's going to AI. Tomorrow it's going somewhere else. So
Speak.
yeah, we can't get arrested on crypto all of a sudden. Last year, people would only invest in, like, literally 6 months ago. If I came up with a crypto idea that was the stupidest thing on, well, actually still today, if you come up with a stupid idea, an absolutely absurd idea to do with crypto, you can probably find money for it. If you come up with a usable utility token that will actually make people's lives easier, you can't find a dime,
Oh
because
goodness.
they're not interested in it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like the AI thing is the same thing almost. As long as they think that you're gonna be the next big thing, they're throwing money at it. So we're trying to figure out if we integrate, that was the other part. If we integrate the word AI as well as some capability in-house, are we going to tap into development funds?
Sure.
Uh, right? Because that's the flavor of the moment, and nobody's giving money for actual movies. But the AI generates the actual movie. So come on, let's think about that. Um,
Yeah,
Interesting.
it is crazy when you think about like these kind of things, right? Where
Yeah.
people generate slop with these characters, and then they add like
Yeah.
Pixar and DreamWorks, and they're like, "Hey, how do you feel about this?"
Yeah.
Kerchow. Because if I did that, I'd get sued. I just think it's like a new wave of intellectual properties coming.
Yeah. Well, there was just another post on LinkedIn. I don't remember. Well, it turns out the person does porn. AI Companions is a company he works for.
Sure.
I don't know. That's not the name of the company, but they do AI Companions. But the comment he made was that he had a client, and the client said, we don't just use AI. We couldn't care less about copyright infringement. Don't
Of
worry about it."
course. Yeah. No one really
And
cares about
I'm
that.
like, well, that's fine, but what if I just started not worrying about your patents or not worrying about your trademarks?
Ooh.
Um, there's going to be problems, and J.R.R. Martin just won the right to go to trial for ChatGPT and Microsoft on their class action. So that's going up. The courts are divided on it. But where's the legislature? They're doing nothing. They need to
Well,
get up and figure out
I think they
copyright
told you the
issues.
government was closed, man. Government closed.
Yeah, they just, yeah. So
Hey, Shadow,
it's a mess.
it was great talking with you here today. I'm gonna jump off here.
Yeah.
Uh,
Alrighty.
but we're really excited to kind of continue this partnership, not just with Stage Screen Innovations, but both you and Diamond and the Independent Producers Guild. When we have something that's like a real pitch deck, it's going to be something different, right? Did you see that movie, The People's Joker? You know what I'm
I
talking about?
didn't. No.
Yeah, it'll be something like this, man. It'll be different. Vera, who made it, stars in it as the Joker, right? And I think it's kind of divisive. You either hate it or love it, but it's an example of maybe the target we're shooting for, as opposed to something as polished as what's out there. So if you ever want to
Well,
see,
I mean,
I love this one. This the worst thing I've ever seen.
that,
Uh, it's one of the silliest movies I've ever seen. It's very absurdist and explores modern day comedy. I
and
love,
but he took the time to say that, which
yeah,
means it gets boosted, right?
yeah.
No, there's a market. Anything there's a market for, man. I mean, there's some lines we don't want to cross.
We're aiming for 2B, bro. We're aiming for 2B. Trying to get it on 2B. 2B or not to be.
Oh, to be or not to be, yeah.
All
All
right.
right.
You
All
stay
right. Well,
well.
yeah, absolutely. We too. We'll talk.